Hello, everybody. Hello, I'm Damien Cross, DC at DC_F1 on Twitter. Got that all wrong, didn't I? Welcome to ZoomZoomers. I've done enough of these by now. I should know how it all works. I'm going to let some people in now. I can see there's quite a few people in the waiting room ready to come in. So hopefully we'll get a great crowd come up soon. Apologies, as always, if there's any bad language, but I'm sure they'll all be very well behaved. And I can see people joining now. We have Alan, I see Ian, I see quite a few people there. How are we all doing? All right?
Not bad.
Yourself? Not bad. At least I know you can hear me. How you doing, Alan? You all right, buddy?
Yeah, not bad at all, thanks.
Excellent, excellent.
Slight accident with some clippers, but otherwise just fine. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything. You might notice I had an accident with some hair color. I say accident. My wife's a hairdresser, and this was deliberate. But for you, I'm guessing you just couldn't wait any longer.
Yeah, it's actually not as bad in real life as it looks on. I basically got sick of waking up like Albert Einstein every morning.
Hello, darling.
Oh, Neil, where's ours?
Nice.
That's good
service.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
This is not how my life usually plays out, but that was quite pleasant.
Just when you're live, being broadcast. Yeah, that's great. We'll go through everybody before we get started. If I could take your name and your Twitter handle. So, Alan, might as well start with you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Alan Bradley. I am the host of the Motoring Podcast, and my Twitter handle is at AJP Bradley. That's Bradley.
Thank you very much. Ian.
It's Ian Cook from Popman Keller, artist and drawing aficionado. I think.
I think that's an upgrade since last time.
I just thought I'd do some words. Normally I paint stuff like that. That's what I normally do.
And that's what we know you for. That's what we know you for. What's on your sweatshirt?
Oh, this is my merch. Popman Colour. There we are.
There you go. Available online. Excellent. We're talking about doing words. Richard, you do words.
I'm Rich Gooding. My Twitter handle is @richgooding.com. I'm a freelance motoring writer and graphic designer.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Richard. Neil.
Hello, I'm Neil Briscoe. I'm a freelance motoring journalist, mostly for the Irish Times and CompleteCar.ie, and you can find me on Twitter at Neil M. Briscoe, like it says there.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Naomi.
Hello, I'm Naomi. I'm a motorsport PR and co-founder of a company called Navigate Partners, and I'm at Naomi Panter on Twitter.
Thank you very much. Chris.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Hughes. I'm marketing and PR coordinator for the Peugeot Sport Club, general automotive dog's body for hire. How's everyone doing?
Good. Yeah, nice to see. Peugeot, we're going to get onto Peugeot in a bit because they've had a bit of a makeover and we want to find out what people think about that. In fact, I'll save that for red green because that's in the red green. Near.
Hi, Near Kahn. I'm a vehicle designer, and you'll find me on Twitter, Near_Kahn.
Brilliant. Thanks ever so much. Cammie.
Hi, I'm a sim racer for Team Fordzilla UK, and my Twitter handle is at Cammie Racing.
Cammie Racing. Nice one. Thanks, Cammie. And Ben.
Evening. I'm Ben Hodges. I am deputy editor of carbuy.co.uk and occasional freelance writer. And my Twitter is Ben SV Hodges. Remembered it.
Nice one. Thanks, Ben. And LA, can you hear us there? We'll just wait for LA. She's only just connected, so we'll just wait for her to join us. LA, if you can hear us, can you let us know your name and Twitter handle, please? She's not playing ball right now, so wait for that. Give me a sec. She just popped a message up there. But yeah, we'll skip to. Have you guys got a red and a green to hand? Yeah. Okay. If not, just go and grab something because we will start. We spoke a second ago with Chris about the Peugeot. I'm just going to share screen because we've got the old versus the new Peugeot logo here. So I'm just going to share this. Take a few seconds for that to pop up. Let me know when it does.
Yep.
Okay.
I can see the Thundercats. Yes.
Yeah, exactly that. I've heard lots of different people say lots of different things about it. And they've all been very witty and very true. So obviously, if you're looking at it on screen now, assuming you can see it the way I do, where the lettering is the right way round and everything, then we've got the new one on the left. and the old one, which I still think is fairly new, on the right. But the brand new one's on the left. So let's go green for the new and red for the old. I'm just going to stop this so we can see it, everybody. So what round did I say, Richard? Which way around was it?
Red for the
Oh,
old, was it? Green for the new?
I can't even remember what I
Red
said
for old,
now.
green for new.
Red for old, green for new. Yeah, my memory at the moment. Red for old, green for new. So we've got a mixed bag. Chris on the fence. Wow. Okay. So Chris, what did you think when you first saw it? Because obviously Peugeot's kind of your world, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've known about it for a little while, so I knew it was coming. We've talked about it in the club, and we knew it was happening. There have been numerous, comments and stuff saying that it's going to come very soon. Badge first appeared on the E-Legend concept car, and that's where it was first sort of hinted that this could be the new badge sort of thing.
Right.
I'll be honest, I think it's a little bit of a retrograde. They did the head logo like that is actually from the 60s and earlier, but that's that particular version is very, very close to the 60s, like late 60s one. And then sort of during the 80s, they had a sort of really quite cool sort of outline shaped version of the lion side on, with a whole lion, which is on my 205 and 405 and 309 and all those. And I still think that's the coolest of them. I know I'm biased, but I do think it's the coolest of them. I think that this head thing is almost a little bit of a retro step. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. I'm going to wait until I've seen it on some cars, I think, to properly make my mind up. There's a new 308 coming, which is supposed to be launched imminently, like within the next month or so. In fact, the journals can probably tell me when it's coming out. There's a new 308 like facelift that's coming, which should be the first production car to have it on. We shall see.
Right. I think I saw a bit of a screwed up face there from Richard. So we don't really know. You've not heard on the grapevine.
No. But I think that logo looks a bit like Lamborghinis to me, because it's in a black field. All right, the colour's different, but I know it's flat because everyone's going flat and digital and everything else. But yeah, well, I didn't expect the shield, certainly.
Yeah, okay, we'll see how it looks. But I've seen a couple of concepts and it looks okay. Nia, of course, you're the design guy, so.
Well, it looks a bit, to me, it looks a bit cheap. At least that's what I thought until completely by chance this week I saw a Peugeot 404, not a real one, I saw a picture of a Peugeot 404 convertible, which has basically that shield on the front. And it looks absolutely right on that car. The one thing I was going to say, there's a reason why everybody's going flat, and it isn't just the digital and it'll look good on Instagram and Twitter thing. As cars are getting more sensors and stuff, there's a need for some kind of radar or something on the front, and there's a need for a flat, featureless front in the middle of the nose of the car. And if you've got a nice 3D chrome effect lion, it can't go there. And whereas flat badges can, and I think a lot of these companies are going to these flat badges. I think that's one of the reasons. And the other is that you can do something quite nice by backlighting it on the car. I think we're going to start seeing that as a bit of a feature as well. So I can understand why they're going flat, and it isn't just a kind of cool current graphic designery thing. I think it's going to grow on us. I tend to agree with Chris, but I think it's more our own nostalgia that we like that kind of double line effect around the lion, like it was on the 205 GTI. It's not the shield that I object to. It's the head itself just looks a little bit. Like a lot of people said football club. I think it looks a bit like kind of a prep school badge or something like that. It just doesn't quite sit right. But we'll get used to it.
We will. Yeah. I mean, stuff changes all the time, and like I said, the old one I still think of as fairly new because
yes, I know. That isn't even how I was picturing the Peugeot badge. No, you flashed that over to me as the old one. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they did.
Oh yeah. Yeah. LA, we've got you on board now. I think you've managed to hook up. So can I just take your name and your Twitter handle, please?
name, social security number. Yeah. So it's LA, Wilshire, and my Twitter handle is @1_LA.
Excellent. Now you're here generally because of motorsport and Formula 2 and that kind of thing. You're looking forward to the season's beginning again.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's almost upon us because testing's literally now just around the corner. And I've got a couple of friends that that are sort of back in the factory now and that kind of thing. So I'm obviously having those kind of conversations now with my friends where they are. So I'm sort of feeling it's already started, even though it actually hasn't yet. But yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, the term has started once again. It feels like the F1 guys are testing and teasing and all that kind of thing. So that's good to see. Naomi, what's going on in the world of electric motorsports? I guess you're the one who has the finger on the pulse with electric motorsport.
I was really hoping you weren't going to ask me that because I didn't see either of the first two races.
Yeah, no,
I skipped them. I don't know why. No particularly strong emotional one way or the other about the races. I just was like not in the mood this weekend to watch a double header. So, but I really need to catch up. And there are so many great writers that I like to support and have great podcasts and all that kind of stuff. So my plan is to binge all that stuff and get caught up. But it's pretty amazing. And there's some mad stuff happened in Riyadh. It's worth for the bits I've seen and the bits I've kind of heard. It was a pretty amazing opening to a race season. So I think there's a lot of Formula E seems to be taking a big step forward yet again.
Good to hear.
It's quite an exciting time.
A competition now. Things like Extreme E, and of course we've got below Formula 3 on the way up there. Now you're involved with the ERA Championship as well. How are things progressing with that?
Yeah, very well. Really exciting times. I can't talk about any of it, which is really annoying, but it's really exciting. And Beth was going to be here tonight, but she couldn't make it because she was doing stuff on the car through the day. So, but yeah, it's exciting. There will be stuff coming from that very soon. But yeah, busy days.
Busy days, definitely. And talking,
I've made zero contribution there. I've spoken for about 4 minutes, and I've actually said nothing. Did you notice that?
Welcome to my world.
Is it a spoiler alert though if we mentioned that there was a big incident, or do you know about that?
Oh, I do know about that. Yeah, poor Alex Lynn. Yeah, it's a pretty spectacular crash, bless him. But he's okay, which is good.
I think it was great that name off the top of my head, I'm so sorry, the other driver stopped and
Mitch
got out and did what he did, which is absolutely, again, it kind of takes you back to those old Formula 1 days, when drivers did, you see the old footage, don't you, of drivers trying to pull drivers out of cars. So kind of there.
And that's exactly. And that's my old team, and when as a PR, which is like, you kind of know what it's like in the garage where every team is ready for the worst to happen if it does, even down to the kind of communication and everything. So it's awful to sort of see that and know how everyone's kind of forcing themselves to sort of mobilize, and when everyone ends up being okay, it's a big relief.
Do you think the Grosjean incident maybe inspired that? Because you don't know how far behind the help is, do you, in a way? And after what we saw with Grosjean, maybe that's made other drivers a bit more mindful to just absolutely quit that race and do what they can do. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think there's the added sort of jeopardy of it being an electric vehicle as well. So, I mean, it's amazing. The extrication teams and all the medical teams in Formula E are amazing, as they are in every championship. But they have that added extra hazard that you can't see. So that's always quite scary. But yeah, I was glad he was okay.
Sorry, DC, you've taken over there.
Oh, you're all right. No, I'm quite happy to have you guys.
I'm in interview mode after those Formula 1 interviews.
It's all right. I was just going to segue that across because we had Rob Wellham, who races in F1000 on months ago now, and of course he did the same. He stopped and helped a driver that had tipped over. Cammie, you were there with me that day, and it's just that mindset of going, the race doesn't matter right now. I just need my friend to be okay and just make sure that he's okay. So
Rob had tipped him over, so
there is that.
It was Rob who did it.
Yeah, you just ruined his story there.
If Rob's watching, he's going, "Oh yeah, cheers, Cammie. Thanks for that." Yeah, no, I know you and Rob get on really well, Cammie. But you did. You've been racing recently, and did all right in the last race, for what I can make out.
Yeah, took my so I race in a series with E-Team. So E-Team Brit, sort of the esport cousin of Team Brit from Britcar, run a championship using R Factor 2. We're getting down to the final round next Friday, and I was able to take my maiden victory in the series last week, which was sort of bittersweet because a few days before my cousin had passed away not with COVID, but it was like a liver and then lung and then COVID, and it was all sorts of complications. And I used to sort of play video games with him, sort of racing video games. So it was sort of bittersweet to dedicate a win to him.
Yeah, it was. You mentioned that on the broadcast, and it was a really touching moment for you to dedicate that to him. But let's not forget the fact that you've done an amazing job in a car, because you race a Radical in the series, which isn't really the fancied car, but you have a connection with Ford, and the Radical uses a Ford engine. So it seems that you've now treated yourself to a nice big chair.
Yeah. The illustration work's gone well, so I was able to treat myself to a proper sim rig that isn't just a glorified deck chair that squeaks and creaks when I move in it. So this is sort of proper Alcantara seat, and it's quite sturdy. So
good.
Yeah, maybe it helped me with some results.
Seeing your work everywhere, Cammie. Congratulations. I mean, the reaction has been absolutely amazing. Well done.
Oh, well, I was lucky that a YouTuber featured me in their video. They were talking about rich energy, which is a hot topic.
Is that luck, or is that you working hard and grafting?
It was luck that he found me, but because he bought a print, but then it was me who chased after him about getting featured in one of his videos.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more hard work that you should get credit for than it is just luck. So well done anyway. So Go for the Gap is the brand that you tend to do your artwork. There is Cammie artwork as well, and there's Go for the Gap. So Go for the Gap for the motorsport stuff.
Yes.
So people can find you on Etsy. Is that right?
Yes, they can find me on Etsy. It's just sort of the Etsy.com/shop/Go for the Gap.
Excellent.
You can also find it on our Twitter and Instagram and stuff. I post quite a few of Cammie's bits and bobs on our social media pages.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. Keep an eye on the Zoom.
Just by way of testimonial, I've given Cammie's pictures as presents a couple of times already, and the people who got them were overjoyed, and they're just brilliant. So
there you go. Look, she's just getting like conscious now, aren't you, Cammie? But talking of artwork, let's talk to Ian, because of course you with the massive Lotus over your shoulder, you're no stranger to producing artworks as commissions for people who want bespoke stuff, but also you've got a lovely back catalogue of cars drawn with radio control cars and cars that you've done with one continuous line and that kind of thing. How's that all going?
Yeah, it's good. So I think with possible openings up of so events are kind of being talked about now. So just planning now so that I'm ready to kind of go for when that happens. So we've sold the Kia. The Kia's now gone, and be devinyled, which was surprisingly, it looked really good after 6 years being wrapped. It looks all right. So I think the dealer were like, "Oh my god, it looks all right." The Kia's gone. We've got a long-term Toyota Pro Ace, which is going to be vinyled up and wrapped up. So we're just working on Toyota artworks to go with that. So if any suggestions of other Toyotas to do, ideally I need to do them this week to get them scanned and ready for the wrap. So that's going to be the end of the month, hopefully. So the van will be like the merchandise wagon. So that's where all the kind of prints, copies, t-shirts is going to be in that. And then the Spark will be the studio, which I created. So both cars will go to the event as a kind of feature, really. So yeah.
A first event in mind, or are you still kind of waiting on calendars, or do you know where you're going to be?
It's just going to be down to whether if the it's non-essential retail is first, so things like the classic Motor Hub, Cafe the Machine, those kind of venues possibly will have their meetup type things again, which are predominantly outdoors. So so probably those those kind of venues. And then might have stuff at Fargo potentially, and then the studio can be reopened because the studio is classed as non-essential retail. So of
course,
when I can open that up, then I can be back in the studio, doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, we look forward to seeing more of that stuff. So, Neil, on your side, you're over the Irish Sea. I could never remember whereabouts you are. Sorry, but how is it different over there? Because we've got a very much a well-defined roadmap now about how we're going to start unlocking everything here. But how is it over there?
You know, when you tip a pot of slightly overcooked spaghetti onto the floor, that's what our roadmap looks like. Particularly for me, because I'm caught between two, because I live in Belfast, but obviously all my work is in Dublin, so I'm caught between two different spheres of general stupidity. So I don't know. I mean, the crazy thing is, right? The crazy thing is, because Northern Ireland obviously is part of the UK and is therefore getting vaccines by the bucket load at the moment. The mad thing is, and also because the Irish government has screwed things up so badly, is that I could end up getting a vaccine at about the same time as my 73-year-old dad who's recovered from cancer. So that's where we are at the moment.
Okay. So it's a whole mess at the moment. So no definite roadmap or anything like that. So how about events?
So just if there's any consolation, there's no real fixed agenda to this at the moment, because it's even down to individual doctor's surgeries right now, because it depends on the age group and the conditions of people in your particular area, because there might be a doctor's surgery that has a bunch of pensioners that need to send all their people first, and then there's a surgery that has younger people either in the same town or a different end of the country. My friend's 20-odd-year-old son was done 2 weeks ago down in Devon, because it's quieter, there are less people. But then I got done before her. I had my first vaccine last week, and then she was done a few days after me, and she's a higher priority than me. So it's just everyone's just being done when they can, and let's hope we all get done first so we can all go out.
Yeah, well, I really want to see my family. It's been 2 years now I haven't seen my parents, because my parents live in France, and it's been nearly 2 years I haven't seen my brother, and he had a little baby boy during the first lockdown, and we still haven't met his son. So I'm desperate to see my family.
Oh, bless you.
I haven't seen my dad since he got out of hospital, which was in April last year. So
wow. It really has torn everyone apart, hasn't it? I think we're lucky in the UK, but as well as the UK, the other nation we hear a lot about here, or I do on the radio, is Israel. And I think it's kind of quite reassuring to see that over in Israel, we happen to have a representative here. It's going all right. So how's it looking your end? Is it kind of the end is in sight, or?
The end is in sight. I say Britain's doing a really good job with the vaccines, but even compared to Britain, Israel's way ahead. I mean, if it's working and if it's actually going to get everybody out of this, you're going to see it with us first. So our stats, we are 55% of people have had the first vaccine, and very nearly 40% have had the second one. We're 100% Pfizer here. So I mean, I'm 46. I had the second vaccine about 3 or 4 weeks ago already. So we're starting to see the effect. I mean, that's significant. I mean, and basically everybody over 60 was done months and months ago. So what's interesting, the numbers of people seriously ill and hospitalizations and that kind of stuff are going right down now. The number of people testing positive isn't. If anything, it's coming back up a little bit, because people are starting to be a little bit less careful.
Right.
But what that means in practical terms is that it is still kind of getting passed around, but it no longer matters all that much. There's way fewer people are getting properly ill. The practical side of that is that we're starting to open stuff up. A lot of places on the proviso that you've had both vaccines. So it's kind of like a green card if you've had both vaccines. If you've had both vaccines now, gyms are open, shows like there's been gigs and that kind of stuff. Again, on a kind of a limited number and that kind of stuff, but we've started opening that kind of stuff. From Sunday, restaurants and hotels and all that kind of stuff are opening. So we're starting to open back up. The kids are all back at school and that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's great.
So we're starting to see the effect, and that's the kind of the positive side. It's still going to take quite a bit of time. I mean, my family's all over the world, but my mum and sister in Britain I haven't seen for well over a year now. It's the reason that I haven't yet received Ian's lovely drawing that he did for me this week, like a couple of weeks ago. I was a guest on Continuous Cars, and Ian drew the Sandcat. But to avoid any international postage issues, I've got him to post it to my mum in London. So my mum has it, but it's still gonna be a while before I get hold of it.
Can I just ask?
While we're talking about Ian, sorry, wait, Ian, it's boxed in a box. We are here. Look at that. Does it look beautiful? Are we doing a show and tell at some point? But I just wanted to show you that it's in a lovely frame, ready to go up, pride of place when I finish my bedroom.
I was just going to ask Ian, are you still planning on doing continuous car tour when you're allowed to?
The plan is with the van is to deliver the books that have been bought. The van is going to deliver the books to the people who bought it. That's the plan. So rather than
you're going to have to go to Belfast then.
Yeah, exactly. That's fun. Yeah, on the way. So yeah, so that the plan is that's why the van is being done is so that it can deliver the books that have been pre-ordered. So a part of the story. So hopefully when we can travel, then that'll be done.
Looking forward to you coming to Cornwall, and I'll take you for a spin in the GTI.
Excellent. Look forward to it.
Yeah, it'd be nice when everything's opened up again, won't it? I mean, the COVID was kind of the start of ZoomZoomers. We kind of were looking a way of getting together. So although we're here to talk about cars, I suppose talking about COVID's incredibly relevant. But to bring it back to cars, let's go to the guy who hosts, or one of the two guys who hosts the Motoring podcast, and ask how things have been going with new car sales. Obviously, you're the guy I go to when I want to registrations. Sorry, whether they're on the up again. Have I scored a brownie point there, or have I?
As far it's not me who gets all stroppy about that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the other one.
The funny thing, it's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did. Registrations for January were way down. They were terrible. It's at the far end of the month, and 20 minutes after I talked about it, I forget about stuff. So we're way down and just not great, really.
No.
To be honest, I'm not sure what's happening this week. To be honest, Rich, who's there for me, has been on the Motoring podcast more recently than I have, because I had to work into the night last week. So Rich guest hosted instead of me, and everyone says how good he was.
I've not heard it yet.
It's really good, yeah.
So how does that work? Do you have a kind of we know Alan's got the kit. Have you got like a decent like microphone and everything set up at home then, Richard, or do you just have to dial in on it?
My other half does, or used to do, a lot of interviews. So there is a Blue Yeti microphone and earphones and diffuser and stuff. So it's just getting the setup right. I mean, we were using software last week that Alan's co-host hadn't told me has an effect on it. That the effect was on it all the way through.
No, basically, so what we ended up doing last week was I was sitting here at this computer delivering training to people in the US, triggering this computer to start doing the online streaming and recording a backup version, which is what we ended up using because it didn't have the metronome sound going right the way through. And then at the end, I was still delivering training to this computer to see people going like this on this computer, telling me that they'd finished recording the podcast. Thanks, because I had to move them right over to the far edge, because otherwise they were far more interesting than the slides I was trying to deliver to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit of a weird setup last week, but it was nice because you finished just before I finished delivering the training. So then the three of us could have a nice chat afterwards.
And that was even with Andrew's fairly big rant. But
I haven't heard it yet. So is this the most recent podcast that's gone out? The most recent version of the Motoring podcast. Okay, I'll have to try and.
I haven't heard it either.
Haven't you? Oh, no. But there's a big rant, Richard.
Well, Andrew, we talk about cyber security and things like that. But
yeah, I remember. What
I have since learned, Alan, that when you open GarageBand, the metronome effect is by default on.
Yes.
So
turn it off.
Yeah, if I do it again, I will turn it off.
Excellent. Well, before we start talking about the theme of the week and do the usual things like the red-green questions, we do have a guest to welcome. So a lot of you guys will know Alex Goy or Al Goy off the internet. I'll just let him in, and if you could all give him a lovely ZoomZoomers welcome when he does join. I'll give him a few moments to connect to audio. And Alex, let us know when you can hear us.
Hello, I can hear you. Yes.
Excellent.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Looking
Hello.
on a screen. There we are. The tube is turned off. I just sent you a message saying, so I've got you on the monitor there. So let's look at my throat. Don't let me in yet. I'm going to get a beer. And then I looked up and there was a big wall of faces. So I won't do that.
You feel free to go get a beer in a moment. But I see you've got yourself a nice Ian Cook commission behind you as well.
Yeah, my flat doubles up as up in the museum. I am London Gallery, I think.
Yeah. There's a bit of feedback. I'm not sure if I'm the only one getting it on your microphone. I'm not sure if that's coming from because you've got a monitor on or.
No, there's no monitor on. Hang on. How's
Doubling,
that?
stuttering.
Sounds better.
Just give you
Sounds like moaning Myrtle in the bar.
I wouldn't
The
know
cracking
what that sounds
reference.
like. Okay.
Much better.
Is that better? Just too much gain. I live on roads. There's normally lots of noise.
Okay, we still have a bit of it, but we'll get around that in just a moment. Because what I'm going to do before we start talking about old cars that deserve a retro comeback, like the Fiat 500, Volkswagen Beetle, and Mini, those kind of things had. I'm going to give you the traditional welcome, Alex, of doing a track day own scrap wheel. Have you seen any of the ZoomZoomers where have done a track day own scrap before?
I will admit to not having seen that.
No worries at all. I will just share a screen. So if you could all give me a wave if you can see the track day own scrap wheel. So I know it. There we go. Okay, what's going to happen here is we're going to spin this 3 times. That will generate 3 different cars for you. And then you have to choose one that you can take on a track day, one that you get to take home and live with forever, and one that has to just be scrapped. So
okay.
3 different questions. I'll drop them down in case we forget what they are. So the first one's coming now. I see them a couple of seconds before you, so I'll wait a few seconds. Hopefully some of these will float your boat. We've got an old Elan, okay, a 1960s Elan. As one of your cars.
Neil's face.
What was Neil's face?
Was my suit you surface?
I am a fan of British tats. It's a G40.
Yeah, a proper old GT40. So
one of the ones.
Did you? And the third, you've got a couple of good cars here so far, but we're going to have to get you something rubbish. Let's see what comes up.
Well,
oh, no, it hasn't happened. Here you go. I'll wait a few seconds.
Dean, I can't hear anyone.
There we go, Alex.
Have you been muted?
Can you hear me, Alex?
Weird, Alex? Still sound weird.
That's just Alex.
Well, there is that.
So you can't hear us at all? No, I'm guessing he can't because he's not coming back to us. I think he's just had such a tough decision with these 3 cars, which one to put in
He's
the
playing
bin
for time.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's Googling, what's the red car? Yeah. Hang on,
Can't hear us making fun of him.
We can say what we like about him now, can't we? This is the opportunity we've all wanted.
Let's all just pick a car.
We'll come back to Alex.
I can't actually see it now. I think I've somehow got rid of it. I don't know.
No, I've stopped the screen share.
Oh.
We'll have to. I'm just going to drop Alex a message.
He can't hear us. He said in the chat.
He can't hear us. I'm just going to drop him a message to ask which one he would track day, which one he would own, and which one he would scrap. But let's have that same selection of 3 cars: the Elan, the GT40, and the Dino. To Ben, if you want to let us know what you would do in Alex's situation.
That's gonna be on the spot. Don't like the land, probably the Dino, just because it did the cannonball with only 1 spark plug out in 1978, I believe it was, something like that. So that's the only reason why. And the other one, whatever it was, scrap that as well or sell it.
Fair enough.
But Ben, when we've done this little bit, I haven't heard from you. Oh, send me I haven't got any. We want to know how you've been. I've not seen you for ages. Neil's drank all this.
Been very busy.
Okay.
And tired.
We can hear you.
Alex, we can hear you.
Back.
I don't think he can hear us still.
Can you hear us, Alex?
I'll drop him a message. This is fantastic for everyone watching home because you can't see the chat we've got on here. But
Hear me just now. Let me try a different.
Just tell him to switch it off and switch it back on again.
No, we are.
Naomi, can you say it in your Irish accent so it'd sound funnier?
No way.
You can hear us now, Alex, can you?
Hear everything. I can hear everything you say, past, present, and future. So I forgive you what you're going to say tomorrow morning.
Excellent. You're still a bit kind of. There's a bit of reverb or something on your thing.
Okay, I honestly know what to do. This mic is perfectly. Everything else it's ever been plugged in. If I twist that, that's worse. Isn't it?
No, that's
better.
No, that's perfect.
Way better.
Okay, that's way better. All right, we'll twist it that way then instead. Is even better.
Yeah,
much better.
Seems to
Excellent.
be excellent. So you haven't had the chance to dodge
technology.
the question then. We've got
The question,
exactly.
I was writing down. I would keep the alarm, unsurprisingly.
It's very
I'd
you.
scrap the GT40 because I'd one and it broke. So I would track the Dino because I like a Fiat.
Excellent. It was a great choice of cars there, and I'm glad that you managed to come back so we could ask you that properly. But whilst I've got you then, we tasked the Zoomers over the month for thoughts about a retro car that they'd like to bring back. Now, I did chuck this question at you fairly recently, so I'm not sure you've had a chance to think about this. Have you got any ideas of an old car that you think deserves a reawakening, a reimagining, like the Volkswagen Beetle and Co?
SM was something was mooted a while ago. It looks really cool, but the engine was brilliant when it worked, which is about every 5 minutes. And then it broke. So that's because it's just beautiful. Just imagine that it's the kind of car that, while the V6 suited its character as being, this sort of smooth and pleasant, thrummy, noisy thing going down the street, actually, it would work really well as an EV because it can be comfortable and soft and squishy. It doesn't matter that it weighs 1 million tons because, well, it's a comfy, soft cruiser if you need to.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you think Citroen will do a great job of reimagining it now because they're making a thing again about suspension and comfort, aren't they?
They've got a new hydraulic system, yeah.
Good. I haven't been keeping up with Citroen. I'm not going to lie. You know who would do that really well? So I've been spending a lot of time looking at a company called Luna's Design. Have you guys heard of these people? So Luna's, for those that have, they're wonderful. It's set up by this chap called Dave Orange, and he decided that he was driving an old 1990 SL Merc with his daughter. And it broke down because they do that a lot. And he looked at the car on the back of a flat and thought, my daughter does not want to do this. Her gen is not going to be able to a classic car. I'll make them all electric. And then now he electrifies all the things. So what was it? He's done a Jag XK120. They've done a Rolls-Royce Fan 5, Bentley Continental. I think press release went out that today. They got Range Rovers. They've got all these classic cars that they're then gutting and putting electric powertrains in. Really cool thing is the guy who designed the powertrain for it is a chap, John Hilton. They're NF1 nerds here. Yes. Yeah. Do you know who John is? He was the engineering chief of Renault for a spell, and now he designed electric powertrain to go into classic cars. So they're not going to break, and they're really quick.
Yeah, that sounds ideal. One of my dad owned an MOT garage growing up, and Citroen suspension and that kind of thing was always an incredible issue for him. So I think a modern version of an SM or any of those era of Citroens would be absolutely fantastic. How about you, Chris? Because of course, I bet you've got a few ideas.
I've come up with one. I thought really long and hard about this, and my father had an Austin Healey Frog Eye Sprite, when he was in his 20s, and he always wanted a 3000. So I thought, how about a modern 3000? Even more than that, BMW owned the name to Austin Healey when they bought Mini and a few other bits and bobs. So they still own Austin Healey. They've got the Z4 Supra platform, which is a 6-cylinder sort of sports car-ish chassis. A modern day Austin Healey 3000 based on that chassis, I reckon, would be a winner.
Sign me up.
Yes, that does sound good. Oh yeah, what I didn't expect the Austin Healey 3000 to come up. So great, thanks for that. Alan, what do you think?
Well, Alex stole mine. I was going to say Citroen SM.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
It's okay. It happens every month. Don't. Yeah.
Well, every month someone steals your Citroen SM. You seem to have a lot of Citroen SMs, chap.
Well, they're all broken.
Yaris's and Citroen SMs are your jam. It's a very weird fusion cuisine, but I am here for it.
It is. It's like French, Japanese, foie gras sushi, that kind of thing. So moving away from either of those, that sounds awful actually. Moving away from either of those, Mazda RX-8. It's not that old.
Okay.
But it's almost a classic.
That stretch, yeah, okay.
But it could really do with the electric engine in it. It's something which I've said would be good for an electric conversion for years, partly for practical reasons. But it's a cool shape. It's a good handling car. You can sort of fit all the batteries down the spine in the middle. That's what I would have.
Excellent. Yeah, another left field choice there. Okay, cool. Naomi, have you had a chance to think of one?
Yes, but Chris said what I was going to say, but a lot better. So I'm going to go with in a similar theme of a Triumph TR6.
Okay.
My thinking being that I've said it before in here, but I think I think it's sad that there isn't really that 2-seater roadster sort of like affordable, relatively speaking. There isn't really that scene anymore, and I think there's room for that in the electric world. Maybe I could have picked anything. I originally said MG Midget, and then I thought Jensen Healey. They're my cars my dad had, but I think the TR6 is one of my favorite cars. And the other reason I want to reimagine it is I don't fit in them. I'm too tall, and it's really depressing. I sat in one for the first time when I was looking for a wedding car, and I didn't fit. So I'd like one, but a bit longer, basically, please.
Okay, TR6.5.
Yes, please.
Excellent. TR 6 foot plus. There we go. I'll just reel these out. Get on the phone, Triumph. We can make this happen. Near, how about you?
First, regular listeners will know that I had an X19 when I was a student. Now, Chris went out of his way to not say the Peugeot 205 GTI, which we all thought he would. I haven't gone out of my way to not say what everybody thought that I would, which is the X19. Now, the thing is, I wouldn't actually bring it back as X19. This is why I'm going to give it a little bit of a twist. And the only model I have of this is the Wonder Woman one. I would bring it back as the Runabout. Now, the Bertoni, I don't know if this is in focus or not. The Bertoni Runabout was the concept car which predated the X19. Like, this was kind of the original concept that became the X19. And I think that would work really, really well today as a electric runabout. Call it the Runabout. Make it like an urban, like an urban sports car, if you like. It doesn't need to be especially fast. Just basically take the electric Fiat 500 platform and put this kind of nice sporty body on it. Call it the Runabout, and I think Stellantis has got a hit on the hands.
Yeah, see, as using that Fiat 500 platform, really cool little runabout.
Yep.
Yeah,
and of course, the beauty of electric platforms. I mean, the reason the X19 was mid-engined was because that makes it low and center of gravity and all that kind of stuff. But with an electric car, you don't really need that. It's not really important where the motor is, as long as everything sits nice and low. So there's no reason at all why the 500 platform couldn't make a nice little runabout, I think.
Brilliant. Yeah, see, I love the fact you've considered all this as well. Yeah. Let's go to Richard next. Richard, have you had a chance to think of one?
Have, yes, and it would be the Alpha 105 or 115 Series Coupe.
Oh, nice.
Because just look at it.
Simple as that.
But with an EV powertrain, you've got none of the reliability issues.
Exactly. Yeah, this is the thing. I guess this is going to crop up a lot. The ones that people want as electric cars are the cars they want, but are put off by the mechanical side of things. And it seems like electric could come along and make that go away. So that's interesting. So an Alfa Romeo. Again, there's not many of the cars that I would have expected, but we'll carry on. Cammie, have you had a chance to think of one? But
Yeah, nobody said it. Surprised? DeLorean, DMC-12.
Okay.
I think a modern. I know the company DeLorean sort of was rebought, and they do sort of an electric modification, but just a new model of it, because DeLorean obviously was going to be a company that made more than one model of car. The DMC-12 was just their first model of car, and then so they went out of business and the whole drug scandal. So if the company had been able to go on and they could have redeveloped it or sort of made a Mark II, something a bit wider, a bit more power behind it, because I know the American version was really a bit weak because of emissions restrictions they had in America.
Cammie, there is talk of Ital Design doing a modern DeLorean. I can't remember where I saw it. I think it's on Instagram, but Ital Design is supposed to be like, they've hinted that they might be doing something with DeLorean.
They're doing it with DeLorean in Texas with lovely Stephen Wynn, who is he's got an aggressively Scouse accent, but he lives in the middle of Bumble Bottom nowhere, Texas. It's really weird.
You sound better, Alex. You sound normal.
I sound
like
normal. I'm very confused. That microphone has been perfect, and I've recorded podcasts aplenty on it, but a Zoom call appears to mystify it into nothingness. Oh well, we have fixed the problem. But no, so are they doing it with DeLorean in Texas?
I don't know. I just saw a thing on Instagram that said Ital Design are going to be working with DeLorean, as Back to the Future is my favorite movie, like ever of all time.
Yes,
Um,
I'm a little bit intrigued about it.
In Bumble Bottom, Texas. Yeah,
that's the family-friendly version of saying where he actually lives. It's spelt humble, but it's pronounced umble. And there's a big shed with a corrugated iron roof, and it's full of every leftover DeLorean bit.
They were stopped midway through production, weren't they? So
yeah,
that's the question I was going to ask: is with a car like DeLorean, if you're bringing it back, how do you build its story back into it? Because obviously, such a big part of the DeLorean is the stories you tell about it.
I suppose with something like that, it would be a matter of it looks like a DeLorean and it goes like you want a DeLorean to go like, because as you said, like the motor in the petrol one was rubbish. The company itself is steeped in controversy. I think that's a fair way of putting it. Controversy, like it's a whole big story, and there's books and books and books on it, and each one of them is more fascinating and more twisted than the last. But I think in the case of, because DeLorean in Texas, they did they had a go at an electric one, but about 5 or 6 years before they should have done. And they went, look, we'll do you an electric car. And everyone went, yeah, that's great. And they went, no, it's really expensive. And we can't, because they have to work around the body of, and the underbody of a DeLorean, which is, at this point nearly 50-year-old.
The chassis wasn't designed for it. It's like is it double Y chassis? So you've got a big chassis bar down the middle, when what you want in an electric car is something where the batteries can sit in the middle.
Yeah,
that's right. So, it was sort of based on Lotus's.
Yeah,
sort of,
that's right.
Oh, don't let the man from DeLorean hear you say that. He will jump on you and eat you. He will dislocate his jaw and swallow you whole.
Alex did a documentary on DeLorean a couple of years ago.
The definitive documentary.
Yeah.
The BBC had the gall to do one recently. I was most upset. Yes, you can't say it's based on. You can't say it's based on an Esprit, even though the chassis is remarkably similar, and it weighs about what an Esprit would weigh if you covered it in stainless steel. What else don't they like you saying? Oh, lots of things. They don't like you saying that that DeLorean was done on drugs charges, because he wasn't. He was acquitted. He got away with all of his crimes. It's just no one would employ him afterwards, because why would you?
A lot of money went missing.
A lot of money went missing, and a lot of it is still missing, and there's things in books, and it melts my brain.
So is there? So you done a documentary on this, Alex? Did I just pick up from all that? Is that available anywhere?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I did it. It was a bit of a sort of. I was flying out in my old job when it was called X-Car before it became Carfection. We were flying to America for this big sort of trip. We were out for 21 days, and the idea was to make as many films as possible. So we kind of booked in a load of stuff. And while we were flying out to Texas, I was finishing up research on. It was just going to be like a couple of quick interviews and a drive of one of their cars. Turns out our fixer hadn't actually got us a drive, so we sort of turned up at the door and went, "Hi, we've flown all the way from England to have a chat." That's what they thought, which did not go down amazingly well, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, so I was finishing up this book, and I was like, hang on, this guy was a massive crook. We should nail him to the wall. Let's tell this story, because there was the famous Panter documentary in the 80s. Which had all the access to all the people at the right time. Yeah, we sort of started this process, and it took 2 years to make. I think it came out. The idea was to get it done on Back to the Future Day, which was October 15th, 2015. Is that right, Chris? You're about.
Sounds about right.
You're the Back to the Future.
I've got a T-shirt with it on somewhere, but I'd have to look it up.
But we ended up not making that deadline because it was it became an after-hours passion project. So I ended up going to the 35th anniversary DeLorean workers reunion in Belfast. It was one of the most bizarre weekends of my life. It was a deeply strange experience. We were in there's a man who you will find on every DeLorean documentary. He's a chap called Barry Wils. He started out as the purchasing manager and was during administration the man at the top of the tree. And so you if you want to do anything with a DeLorean, you get in touch with Barry, and he'll guide you through the whole thing. And so we were invited to this thing to film everything that was going on, and we ended up conducting interviews with executives 2x2 in a sort of signal box in a massive hall full of trains while the museum was open. It was really weird. It was really good fun.
Yeah.
It was a deeply strange thing. But yeah, we met all these people and created. Yeah, I'm really proud of that piece. Like comparatively, no one watched it, but it was good fun to do. It was a proper passion thing.
So how do we find it? What do we search for? Carfection, was it?
Yeah, it's Carfection, DeLorean, the man, the car, the legend. I think we called it.
Excellent. We'll keep an eye out for that. And thanks, Cammie, for bringing up the DeLorean then, because that's obviously.
Alex loved it.
Alex loved it.
I love it. I love a DeLorean. Me.
Who doesn't?
They're genuinely dreadful. But
that's not fair. I watched a video recently on YouTube, and they said they drove it from sort of Manchester down to the Swiss Alps, and they were saying, "Is it genuinely an awful car?" And they said, "Well, if you compare it to other cars of its era, it's actually perfectly reasonable. Like, yes, you get body roll, but every car in 1982 had body roll." And
did one of them happen to own the car?
Yeah, the guy talking about it, he owned one.
Yeah, so that might be why he's not willing to identify that it might have been a bit cack.
we all love the underdogs. We all love the stuff that is a little bit, not great in places. The Mini isn't particularly brilliant. The Beetle's got like 40 brake horsepower.
Oh yeah, he said all that. He said you don't own it because it's reliable and great. You own it because people look at it and go, "Oh, it's the Back to the Future car," and want photos of you.
Yeah, it's not a rational choice, really, is it? But it's definitely one that I think we'd all kind of quite like to have a go with. Yeah, thanks for that. Brilliant, excellent. Neil, how about you? Have you had a think about a car to bring back? Sorry, Neil, you're on mute there, buddy.
There we go. How's that?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. Final word on the DeLorean. If it's good enough for Troy McClure, it's good enough for me.
That's brilliant. Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
You might remember me from other movies, such as P is for Psycho, and the President's Neck is Missing. But anyway, I've had a
say he
long-
sleeps with the fishes, but he's alive.
No. I love it. Anyway, sorry, we digress.
That's right. LA looks like she hasn't got a clue what's going on. She just got what?
Yeah, just Google it. Google it. I had a long thing because I was thinking Lancia Fulvia because a few people have suggested that since Stellantis became a thing that isn't a 1980s Euro pop band.
I'm getting I get deep sea adventure vibes from that name.
Yeah, a bit like
a sequel to that film with Bill Murray, maybe.
Neil just snorted.
I did. I snored. I'm sorry. And I have to apologize to Smith and Sniff for stealing the 80s Europop band reference. But anyway, but no, I've got a much better idea, which is a Tatra 603.
That keeps cropping up, doesn't it?
Because not only is it a wonderfully aerodynamic thing, it also, if you did rip out the air-cooled V8 and put in batteries, it would sort out the horrendous weight distribution problem that it suffers, and it might actually handle properly then, and you would just look like the coolest bastard in town if you had one of those.
So would you see that more of like a resto mod, just like a conversion to electric, or would you like to see it reimagined, like a brand new car in the same way that the new Fiat 500 and Beetle and that came about? And if so, would it lose a bit?
Well, they did. I mean, they did update it. I mean, the V8 rear engine Tatra did stay in production right up to the 90s, at which point it was running over Taki Inui with alarming regularity. But I'd do a full-on resto mod, and you would have to prove membership of your local bureau of secret police before being given the keys, I think.
Okay, sounds like you got it all sussed. Excellent. Ben, how about you?
Not quite sure I can follow that one up, but yeah, mine for purely selfish reasons would be the Peugeot 309 GTI, mainly because I used to own one, and I loved it, and I never should have sold it, and I've not regretted it for the last 20 years.
We can tell.
But also because it was slightly better than the 205. Sorry, I believe Chris is a 205 GTI. I did own both, but also at the moment I think Peugeot have kind of lost their way a bit, and I think the 309 was probably the last good GTI they made.
Oh,
I just can't, because it was kind of a good midway car between a small hot hatch and a kind of medium hatch that was also pretty quick. And it was good to drive, but you could also do everything with it. I remember putting bicycles in mine.
Chris, you look like your stabbing hand is getting a little itchy. What do you have to say?
Yeah, there's been so many like decent Hodges. The 306 GTI 6, the 306 Rally, they're amazing cars to drive still to this day, and very practical, big boot, carry the family, all of that sort of stuff, but they're a hoot to drive. Even like the 208 GTI by Peugeot Sport and the 30th anniversary were both great hot hatches. Even Magazine's
quite quick.
Even Magazine's hot hatch of the year in 2018.
Oh, okay. So okay. We need to give a bit more credit. I was just asking Naomi because obviously your one's electric, isn't it? And every electric vehicle I've ever been involved with has been fairly quick. So would you class yours as a bit of a hot hatch, or?
For me, it's bananas. I'm sure it's lacking all of the analog sense and smells and sounds, but for me, it's fantastic.
I mean, what sort of 0 to 60 compared to the 309 GTI? I mean, do you know what the 0 to 60 or 62 time is in your car, or?
I don't know what mine is actually. I did know. I should look it up. But it is.
We'll have to...
If memory serves, the electric 208 has almost the same performance as the 1.6 205 GTI. I'd have to go back and look it up, but I think.
And if I did remember the stats, it would have been because I read Neil's article about the car before I bought it. So it's better to go straight to Neil.
Yeah, Neil made your mind up for you.
Nobody read that.
You are the influencer, the automotive influencer we've all been waiting for, Neil. It's just.
I think I need to put my hand up and say 205 GTI actually isn't quick at all. If you drive anything modern, like it isn't quick at all.
But I do think there's something to be said as well for these kind of reimaginings of how you keep the analog in the reimagined version. What is truly the essence of what the car was, you know, like even the DeLorean.
Yeah.
If now, you know, the beauty of the DeLorean is all the analog stuff stuck on the outsides and Back to the Future or whatever, or all the stuff inside. So do you want that to be like a mega screen like in a Mercedes, or do you want it to be like, is that the new future?
Are Renault not doing that with the Renault 5?
Yes. Yeah, that looks awesome as well.
Yeah, that's an exciting one. Yeah.
There's an easy answer if you want to keep analog in a.
Is it mute yourself just before you make the point, Neil?
Yes, that's exactly. You see, this is all technology, digital, Zoom bollocks. Just
if only Zoom ran on a V8, you'd be all right, wouldn't you, Neil? You'd be fine. Oh dear. LA,
I'd be missing 2 cylinders and leaking oil all over the car.
What does he keep switching his mic off?
I don't know. Oh dear. It's gone.
I'm going to tell you a really fantastic story. God.
Very good.
Before I go, you must remember this one very important thing.
Alex, come back.
Is he coming back or not?
I was tempted not to.
Oh dear. LA, do you have any ideas about the old stuff that you want to bring back?
I do. I'm going like really old now.
Okay.
And not surprisingly, it's an American car.
Okay.
It's an American car. And I didn't actually know how to tackle this topic because, as you guys know, I don't know much about cars. But when I started to delve around the internet, I realized I'd written about this car in a script a few years ago. I had to write a film script when I was at uni, and I'd done some research then and found this car and gave one of my characters this particular car. And I just stumbled across it yesterday and thought, this car, yeah, I really liked it once. Anyway, so here's the punchline. Are you ready? It's a Duesenberg and it's a Model J. I'm going to electrify this car because I think it'd be an incredibly smooth ride as an electric car. But I've got a few screenshots just for those.
I was hoping you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my halo light's in the way there.
Oh, you're right.
This was such a beautiful car, and a convertible as well.
It's like
look at the dials. Look at that inside and. Even that back seat, isn't that beautiful? Look at the interior.
Isn't that the car that like Mr. Burns has?
I have no idea. I don't watch. I know who that is, but I actually haven't seen an episode in my entire life.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Burns has a Bugatti Sexerosa.
Yeah, no. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, no, the opening credits make me just switch it off. So unpopular opinion. I don't care. Don't at me. Yeah, so it's the Duesenberg, and I think this is an absolutely stunning car, and I think it'd be so beautiful, electrified and modernised, and I think I'd look pretty grand in it as well.
Absolutely,
fantastic. Simon, one of the defining styling features is those exposed exhaust pipes. I think you'd have to replace those with those really thick orange cables that electric cars.
It's like
like exposed orange electrical cables coming out the side, and other than that,
but I mean, even
it's enormous as well. It's huge. It's about 20 foot long.
Yeah, they're massive. They're ginormous American car. But I think.
Sorry, Alex, what was that?
If it's really big, then you can put more batteries in it, so you've got a proper cruiser. It'll take a week to recharge, but you can drive across a continent and have a holiday. That's brilliant. That's genius.
It's fabulous. But there's a little bit of info when it was around, because it's late 1920s, early 1930s for the Model J, and it said it's 3-speed, and it said in second gear it had a top speed of up to 140 mile an hour in second gear.
Pardon?
That's a car. Woo!
Yeah. I bet it took a while to stop from that speed. Blimey. Excellent. I think I've just got Ian left. I think apologies if I've missed anyone else, but Ian, have you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one thing for me in terms of bringing something back, and it's got to be the Chevette, which is of course it's gone off. Paint is really expensive. I found out. I thought I had loads of paint. I thought I had loads of paint in my studio. I went to go and get a car painted. Bloody hell! Bloody hell! I just want it brown. I want it brown. That's it. And it's like, oh, you want it that brown? Yeah. But anyways, there's an idea of what it's going to look like. Look, 70s retro stripes.
That's insane.
Cool. The e-Chevette.
So cool.
Oh, it's powerfully brown. I love it.
Beautifully brown, but it is influenced by that Ford GT, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
So the one day, one car GT. But if you're talking about like, because it's got a boot on it, because it's the terribly 1977 version, you could put a battery in that and be fine. There's loads of room in there. It's where all the water collects when it rains normally.
So batteries at the very far rear where all the water collects.
From Birmingham, it's all right.
At least when there is some sort of flood, you can hydroplane. Like that. Fine.
Exactly. Well, it hasn't got any holes in it now because I've paid to get rid of all of them, so that's fine.
You fill them with paint. Is that why it's so expensive?
Yeah.
So expensive.
Rear wheel drive with the electrics in the back would be interesting as well.
Fine, just permanent wheelie hopping.
I was just saying, like that.
Ian's arrived. Here he is.
What actually? You should paint the underside of it, shouldn't you? You know, those graphics underneath on the.
I'll just paint that. I'll literally paint is really expensive. That's what I write on the inside.
In Sharpie.
Yeah, I've got all the Sharpies, loads of Sharpies. Yeah, this cost me lots of. I've put too much money in this. This is basically. I'm too committed now. The problem is I'm too committed. Like,
you've got to see it through, haven't you? What are the mechanicals going to be then? So you're not going electric with it, are you? Is it an MX-5, isn't it?
MX-5, Series 2 MX-5, engine and gearbox. So, but before that, it's got to be painted, and that costs money.
Yeah, you could buy an MX-5 for the amount that's going to cost you to paint. No, a really good MX-5.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
Imagine the tears when he gets his first scratch on it.
Yeah.
He's going to run after the culprit, saying, "You owe me 20 quid."
Yeah. In the proper Brummie accent as well. Oi, stop! You've dented my car.
Yeah. Ian, what does your lovely lady wife think of how much it's costing to paint this, or does she not know yet?
There was a conversation. I thought it diverted the conversation. It didn't divert the conversation.
You're never going to divert a conversation from a woman, Ian.
Particularly when it's brown, a brown car. You're never going to get away with it. It's not pretty. Well,
you have to sell a lot of continuous car books.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep. I'm gonna be drawing until I'm 60 odd. Like
just to pay for the brown paint.
Just to pay for brown paint, but.
Oh, you get the stripes and everything done on it though, yeah.
I think it needs a stripe. It definitely needs that colour on it somewhere. Whether it's like that.
You realise that when he's had it done, he's never actually going to take it out of his garage, don't you?
Oh yeah. So I'm going to wrap it in bubble wrap and just be like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's really expensive.
Well, stop looking at it. You stop looking at it. You're scratching it by looking at it. Stop it.
I'll charge people to look at it. Like, you look at the car, £1.
Yeah.
£1.
Yeah. Are there any modern cars that are sold in brown?
Yeah,
all of them. Are there? I've never seen any, so I was wondering if it was a colour that any manufacturer still did.
Cammie, if you have enough money, a manufacturer will paint your car any colour.
Okay, let's say stock standard. Sort of. I've never seen like a Focus go by in brown.
No, they started. Who was it that started bringing out them more like an SUV type, and there were sort of various shades of of brown. But there's a lot of Dodge Rams over in the States that are kind of like that ambery sort of brown.
You can buy
Peugeot 3008.
You can buy Porsches in various shades of brown. I drove a beige Taycan the other week. It was aggressively beige.
Wow. It is, yeah. You can get Volvos as well. Volvo XC90 I saw the other day that was in sort of metallic turd.
Hey.
Very nice.
Turd.
That you've got there, Neil.
That's a
very nice.
Camry.
Brown.
Yeah.
I think it's the most
Finest car in the
underrated
world. I
colour.
will brook no argument.
Neil, what are Toyota calling that colour?
Turdota.
You're going to find out for us.
Toyota.
Turdota.
While he's looking, Damo, do you have a car that you would bring back?
And it looks like Volvo were doing one as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of I think that the cars that work best are these little funky kind of hatchback things. But I think the good ones have already been done. I think the fact that you've got like the Fiat 500 and Fiat Panda, that was cool, the Beetle, the Mini, they're the main ones. There's nothing really of these little cars that really stand out. Except maybe even looking at Volkswagen again, but going back to the Mark 1 Golf, I think that would just be really cool. Just make it small again. You know, the Golf got bigger, they put the Polo in, that got bigger to put the Lupo in, that got bigger to put the Up in. It's like the Golf's over there now, being all big, fat, and horrible. I'm sure people would disagree with
Hyundai
that.
just brought out a Mark 1 Golf.
Yes, but it's much bigger.
It's what I would have. Yeah, it's that the Honda E sort of size. I mean, even that's bigger than it looks on photos.
I mean, you raise a valid point that cars are getting bigger, but no, you'll know the reason for this, and you know, if you have a crash in a Mark 1 Golf, you'll probably die. If you have a crash in a Mark 8 Golf, you probably won't.
They should put that in the marketing.
I mean, I wish they would.
You probably won't die. I like that. I like that. Yeah, sorry, Neil. Did you find out what the colour was?
Yes, it's apparently. Sorry.
What's going on?
It's apparently graphite brown. There you go. Which sounds oxymoronic to me, but there you go.
Graphite isn't brown.
You tell Toyota near. I take no responsibility for this.
Just like blood green. Yeah.
Hey, that's offensive to Vulcans. I'll have you know.
Yes, ice purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, Cammie, you've led me very nicely on with blood green to the next part of the ZoomZoomers here. Alex, we've dropped you in on this a little bit. I don't suppose, Alex, you've got anything nearby which is either red or, well, we need something red and something green. Because what we tend to do is we vote on. Yes, excellent. So let's go for a few red-green questions.
You have helped me once again.
He's just going to vote green for everything, isn't he?
Well, it's empty, so there's nothing else to do with it.
Fair enough.
We turning the red green into a drinking game now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Do I have anything in a red bottle? I've got an orange bottle. That's gin. So
that's close enough. That's fine. You can get through a bottle of gin.
I watched a man do that over a Zoom call the other week. It was not dignified, but it was very funny.
Downed a bottle of gin.
We didn't down it. He just slowly gave himself larger and larger measures as the evening went on.
Right. Fair.
It was incredible. Have you ever seen a man just slowly stop being who they are over the course of an evening? It's quite the sight. It was amazing. Sorry,
not over. That's all right. I think Alan worked out some sort of formula for the right rate of bringing in the alcoholic units as you're doing a broadcast.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but it's to do with the number of, if you drink too many 5% beers whilst recording a podcast, the podcast does sort of quality tails off.
Get better and better.
Yeah, it gets better and then worse.
No, there's more and more editing needed, actually, is what happens. Generally,
right.
Because you start saying things which really should be cropped out. Yeah.
See the Christmas special of ZoomZoomers.
Yeah.
Simon's hat. Yeah.
Yeah, Simon's hat. Okay, so red-green questions. So red, if you disagree or want to say no. Green, if you agree or want to say yes. We've already done Peugeot's new logo and the old one. Actually, we'll have your thoughts on that, Alex. The Peugeot logo that came out very recently. You think it's better than the previous one?
I mean, I think it would look good on the hilt of a knife you buy in a French service station.
Okay, if that's what they're going for, then
I mean, it's
accomplished.
it's a look, I guess. It's the kind of thing like the weird kid at school would have mounted on their wall.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Maybe
exactly
not
that.
necessarily on your mum's car, but while we were studying Peugeot, they were studying the Blade. Whatever. No, I'm not a fan.
Not a fan. No,
not
fair
a
enough.
fan.
Fair enough. We'll get used to it over time, and yeah, we'll see it in situ.
I mean,
I'm sure
I think more cars should involve actual heraldry. Why not bring it back? I mean, Porsche's been doing it for ages, I suppose. Like maybe they just want a slice of that with some kinetic sculpture.
Okay, so the Peugeot's done. Let's go red-green for questions then. First one here. I still listen to CDs. Mixed bag.
I'm almost thinking of what?
Mixed.
I have just fitted a tape deck to a car.
What?
Wow.
I've got a tape deck in mine. Is that old?
Yeah, me too. Well, and CDs. I've got both.
Blimey.
I did have in my Toyota Avensis. I had both, but I've just got a tape deck in mine with all my old tapes. It's great.
I bet. It's all the rewinding and stuff.
I bought more from like the charity shop, like when I got the car, because I've got a tape deck. Let's go and buy some tapes.
Oh, of course, yeah. Excellent.
I do still occasionally buy CDs, but I don't listen to them anymore.
Oh, really?
If it's something special or a band, like you'll get like a signed CD or something like that. But I'll
I've still got my record. Can you see my record player up there?
Just
my record player.
Anything could be in that box. It could be a head. It could be anything.
Oh,
it's not a box.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a gramophone.
So it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head in a gramophone?
What's in the box?
Is it a genuine dunce set?
Is it a what?
He's gone again.
I'm just showing my age. LA,
it's all right. It's a joke made by old men.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm glad that you translated it for us then, Alan.
I was told.
All right. Okay. Okay, next question.
Harsh.
I've planned a summer holiday.
Does that mean I booked it or just planned it?
Just planned it. Okay, okay. Next one. Orange juice is greater than apple juice.
Who hurt you people? Jesus.
Mixed bag again. Mixed bag. Okay.
Bitter stuff with bits in. Gross.
No bits. No
The best
bits.
one is to brush your teeth, then have some orange juice.
Oh, what are you on about?
If you
No, I'm joking.
especially hate yourself and immediately afterwards neck a pint of ice cold water as well, just really sluice the pain around your synapses. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Everything's on fire.
So I missed whether orange juice is better than apple juice. I was...
No. It's rubbish.
All right. Okay. Okay.
No.
Orange juice is rubbish. Okay. Next one. I've considered building a kit car.
I've seen the Lego I've built. No.
No.
I can't put a sticker on straight. How careful would I really be with a gearbox?
I will have my Caterham 7. I will have my Caterham 7.
Yeah, but they can build it for you, and it's their job.
And they're still crap at it.
Well, there is also... Last Caterham I drove was a couple of years ago. I was driving it around the M25. It was admittedly raining, but what I don't know is how the whole top half of my body was fine, but my right calf was soaked. It was under the bit that was covered.
Yeah.
It's not the place to drive a Caterham, though, is it? The M25.
road.
The M25.
It's a road. I needed to get to another road. Like,
I once got caught in a Caterham with no roof and no side screens on the M25 in a colossal downpour, and I actually had to bail the fucker out.
Oh God.
And Alex, of course, three-wheeler Morgans are so much better.
At no point while I've been driving in the rain have my legs gotten wet. The rest of me, yes. My legs, no.
I can absolutely confirm you're fine the bits of the
the bits that are covered with car stay dry, unlike a caterum, where the bits that are covered with car miraculously soak you.
I've never seen Taz so furious when we drove back from somewhere and we were wet, and we got home and she just went, "Did you not read the weather forecast?" No, clearly I wouldn't have gone out otherwise, would I?
See, that's the moment you should have told her how much the paint cost.
Yeah,
Soften
get it all out.
the blow.
Naomi, in your experience with Morgans, have you ever got yourself moist?
Great wording.
You bring me into the conversation just
Was it
for
when
that.
you're a little bit wet? So you're not all wet. Sorry, Naomi.
Mate,
No,
just carry
Damien.
on. This is excellent.
Wildly inappropriate.
No, Damien.
No.
Sorry to disappoint. But I have, to slightly divert, this is the red thing, which is the 1969 Silverstone program.
That's cool.
But in it, I've just found this advert. You name the cars if you know. They're written down there.
Hillman
Hey,
Imp.
Hillman Imp.
Stiletto, actually.
Is
Yeah. It is Stiletto. And if you read in the very bottom corner what you have to pay extra for.
Oh,
seat
yeah.
belts.
Seat belts.
Safer to be thrown clear.
Wow. What year was that? Sorry, Naomi?
This is the 69 Silverstone Grand Prix.
Yeah, I knew he picked up on that. Yeah.
No. Just like
falling apart, Damien. Come on.
I know.
Let's put it
I
together.
just got it completely wrong. Back to the questions.
That'd be a great
Actually,
car. That'd be a great car to bring back, actually. The Imp and Stiletto and all of those would be a brilliant one for an electric version.
Can I just say, looking at my shoes today that haven't been out for over a year, it'd just be great to bring back a stiletto.
See, I only wear my stilettos in the house.
in the Morgan.
I'm seriously going to start wearing them again so I can start practicing walking in them again. I don't think I can walk in them at the moment.
Really? It's been that long. Okay, back to the
I've got to hold
question.
my head up because I've got wet paint on the end of it.
What is that?
Next question,
also
Damien.
got-
Next
that's
question.
right.
Next question. Okay. Talking Formula One, Naomi. So McLaren now with their Mercedes engines will win a race this year.
I've got.
Oh,
I think there could be one race where enough goes wrong for the Mercedes or whatever for McLaren's
Yeah,
fluke
if
one.
all the other cars fall
I
into a
agree.
big hole.
Note on who said no. Take note on who said no. Alan, Richard, Naomi, Alex, Ben. Oh, Ian. Oh.
We'll revisit that at the end of the season then and see who was right and who was wrong.
I hope I'm wrong. I'll put it that way. But I don't
If
think I am.
if AlphaTauri can win a race,
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. If they
exactly.
can do a Pierre Gasly on it, that will be fine.
Well, Carlos wasn't far behind in that race either. He was hunting them down at the end, so it could have been.
And he was very quick at Interlagos as well.
Mm. Cool. Next one, a bit different. Caravans are greater than motorhomes.
Oh, they're both kind of
Is
awful.
there an option for
Both kind of.
no?
Well,
Just no, yeah.
No, go on
Agreed.
a proper holiday.
I'm gonna have
I was
The good
googling
Lord.
Airstreamers
Hotel.
yesterday.
The good
Yeah.
Lord invented bricks and mortar for a reason. Don't have to
a
take
hotel is better than both.
Yeah.
You don't.
That
have
wasn't the
It wasn't
question.
the
leave
question.
yourself in a bucket in your living room, kitchen, dining room, and transport. Like,
Yeah.
You need to go and read my review of the Volkswagen Grand California. Yeah, I had to invent a new word for it. The word was blork.
See, so
It describes the noise that the canister emits as you empty it into the sluice tray.
Oh, he's alive. See, a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you should just borrow one of those from VW. Yeah, you could do a review of it." I was like, "Why? I have a flat."
Yeah, good point. So you're going for neither then. So you wouldn't want to commit to either caravan or a motorhome. We'll just go.
No paper. I have a paper cut instead, please.
But no, but you said about Airstream. You were looking at Airstreams the other day, as in like wanting to.
I can't remember why I got onto it. I think it was I'd seen a Rivian towing one or something in a mad image, and I thought I'd start looking them up to see how much they are. I don't think I'd ever be able to afford them, but I was trying to work out because they are all big on their kind of coach built legacy thing. So I was trying to work out how much they actually cost, but I didn't really get to the bottom of it.
The
Probably
is
as
just
much
that-
as the paint on my Chevette.
The importer is just beside T-Bay Services.
Really?
Yeah, the truck stop junction 37 of the M6.
The one I saw had tons of rivets
Useless
down.
fact of the day. I'm sorry.
Why do you know that?
Why do you not know that?
I have things to do.
Oh shit!
Hang on, there's a junction 37 of the M6.
Yeah, that's.
I'll
when
be
you go
back in a
so-
minute.
That's where you go so far north that you get a nosebleed.
You know why we know Ian's paint is more expensive than an Airstream, right? Because Airstreams aren't painted.
Yeah. That's why they saved money.
But Airstreams are useful.
Yeah.
Whereas a brown Chevette is limited on its use.
Yeah.
There's a real hierarchy to this. I'm led to believe the Airstreamers there's a lot of snobbery to them in the UK, not in the States, but yeah.
Right.
I think that whole scene is full of snobbery. I think it's a minefield, probably.
Yeah.
Well, my toilet cupboard can't be heard from the front of the bit. Well, my toilet cupboard can't be heard at all.
Did we just lose somebody?
Did we just lose somebody? Nobody said that they needed to depart, but I think
We have. We've lost
we are
Rich.
one of
We've
you.
lost
Rich
Rich,
is
kidding.
gone. Okay.
It's like
I'm sure he'll come back.
Party game when your mum takes something off the train, you've got to work out.
Yeah.
It's Richard. It's Richard.
We're going with the questions. I'm going to drill my head in a minute.
All right. Okay. Richard's just gone.
Too much toilet cupboard talk.
Well, Alan, you're going to like this next question after just mentioning about the junctions on the motorway. The next question is, the next red green is, I like motorway driving.
In an electric car or not? Because that's a big different answer.
Oh, let's have so you'd go yes if it's electric and no if it's.
I'm going to go no with electric.
I think
No
wrong
with
with
electric.
driving on the motorway in an electric car. It's just trying to charge using electricity that's the problem.
Yeah, the last time I did it, it was below freezing, and it wasn't.
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't a good day.
I just love driving, so I'm happy to do.
That's the spirit. I agree. I'm going to change my answer. Yeah.
I like driving.
Yeah.
I don't like driving on the motorway because it's full of other people who don't like driving on the motorway, and we're all miserable together, and it's a horrible experience. Sod that.
I like driving on the motorway in France because it's awesome.
Right. Okay.
I like driving on the motorway because it means not having to drive through Dundalk.
Right. I like when you're on a long journey, you build up a bit of a relationship with the people around you, even though you don't know them. But you go, oh yeah, we've been with that Focus now for about 17 miles, and that's a weird thing that I kind of quite like.
And then it's sad to see them.
You're right.
pull off
that
the
is-
junction.
Yeah, they pull off and go, oh, mate.
Bye, friend.
The things we've experienced
Don't mind
together.
that.
Oh, friend. Happy forever.
Okay, the last red green question. I've been on national or local television news.
Does match of the day count?
It's
Were
local
you
news.
scoring a goal?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was standing behind the goal.
Ah, that's all right. Then.
I was on TV Tokyo, and I was being dubbed by a Japanese person, and it was really funny because when they sent me the disc to watch it, it was a bloke. It was like reverse monkey magic. It was like
Was it like one of the dubs on Eurotrash?
What were you doing on Tokyo News, LA?
I was involved in a global competition, a project quite a number of years ago.
Right.
And it kind of went, well, it wasn't supposed to be global, but it went global. Kind of for all the wrong reasons, but then...
Did you kill a man?
With that drill that I'm really worried about is right next to her head.
It went global for the wrong reasons.
No, but it was good fun because my friend switched up. My friend sent me an email and he was like, why have I just switched on Fox News in Sydney? And one of my best friends is actually on the news. You've
got to tell us what it's about. You can't just say, oh, it was a thing.
Well, it's Fox News. It might not be true.
My parents and I was running the project, put their house up in a competition for somebody to win. And it kind of went slightly wrong because the gambling commission stepped in and told us we were running an illegal lottery. So we were quite lucky because we had quite a few people on our side at this point, including the BBC. So we fought them tooth and nail. We fought them with barristers and all sorts, and we won. So it went global basically. So we were in Washington Times, New York Times, Washington Post. We were out just everywhere. It was brilliant. I loved it.
How bizarre. Wow, there you go. So you can't raffle off your house unless you abide by all the normal rules of a raffle, I guess.
Yeah, well, you can't raffle off a house. You can only put it into a competition. So, they closed the doors pretty quickly because there was about 9 other people trying to do it at the same time. So they changed the law and stopped everybody else, but they had to let us go through because of a technicality. So a German guy actually won it, and it was really cool because he came over with his parents and his sister, and then he didn't want to move into it because he had a life in Germany, so he just sold it.
He just sold it. Oh, well, what a prize to win. Excellent. Oh, brilliant. Anyone got any questions they'd like to put to the Zoomers? Any red, green, while everyone's got red and green to hand? Is anything that pops up off the top of your head?
I've got a couple from our social media.
Okay.
I put up, obviously the McLaren Artura was launched last week, and so was the new Porsche 911 GT3. And I was wondering if we could do a red green on who would have one or the other. So if we were to go green for the McLaren and red for the Porsche.
Am I allowed to say neither?
You can do that. It's a bit of a shame, but
I just don't want either of them. That's the thing. Like, there's no. They're going to be all over Instagram for 5 minutes, and then the next shiny thing's going to come out, and then they won't matter anymore, and they'll just be forgotten. And that I want them to stay around and be special because they will both be objectively brilliant. There's nothing going to come close to them for anything they set out to do. But at the same time, they're going to be everywhere for 18 months to 2 years. And that's annoying. That annoys me. So neither, but probably the Porsche.
There is a thing with McLaren cars that if you said which one's the 517, which one's the 6, I wouldn't know. They're just all a bit samey and they quickly release them, don't they? And they don't, I get what you mean, Alex. They don't seem special anymore.
I do kind of have to say though that I recognise one straight away without even seeing the badge. Whenever I even if I catch sort of the side of it or whatever, I'm like, I know straight away that's a McLaren. Which some other cars you kind of have to wait till you see the badge. But
yeah, fair enough. Anything else from the social medias?
Red green question. I'm probably the only person who's going to put red, but who has driven an electric car? How common is that now? Because I've not even sat in one.
Not really a representative sample, mind.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
No, I've not even sat in one. I've not driven one.
In fact, Alex, I don't suppose you remember, but at the launch of the Niels van Rooij, the Tesla, the Remetz car, green Tesla.
I remember that. That was a good launch.
I remember.
There was a deeply unsettling man from Instagram on there as well. I can't remember his name. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, can you remember me being there? And I think we both were saying goodbye to Niels at the same time. But I think you kind of looked around and thought, I think I recognise him, but I'm not sure. And then
I vaguely recognise that man, and now I'm going to leave. That sounds like something I would do, so I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. I bet he hasn't clocked who I am. Yeah.
I think I was in a big hurry to get home and finish and write the thing up because it was a piece for Jalopnik in the end. So it was like, run home, transcribe the interview because I hadn't heard of rev.com at that point, which just does that all for you and it's great. And then got the piece up, and then knowing them, they probably didn't publish it for ages.
I think they did. Because I had to write it for Influx, but I actually turned up in the Q West, the other one, the Norfolk guys who converted a Tesla into. So I turned up in that because I said to them, it's a bit of a cheeky thing. I said, they like launching their new Tesla estate. Do you want me to go and spy on it? And the QS guys went, how about we turn up in our one? I went, all right, we'll do that. So
That's
that was quite
pretty
good. But we couldn't actually park anywhere near it, so it didn't really work in the end.
Ah.
We didn't steal any thunder that day. So Cammie, you've never been in an electric car at all?
No, not even a Leaf, anything. No.
You
Okay,
need
your
to up
time
your
will come.
sponsorship and get a shot in the Mustang Mach-E.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be saying really nice things about.
Yeah, there is I can't really say anything, but there is something supposed to be happening next year with Fordzilla, and it might involve the Mach-E. So we're
okay,
looking forward to it. But saying Mach-E, I just think of Mach-E's. Who's going Mach-E's? Hooray, Mach-E D's. And then I can't take it seriously.
It's not a Mustang. Don't call it a Mustang. It's not.
No, it's
you're not one
it's-
of those people, are you?
I'm afraid I am, Alex. I'm
You're the
afraid I am.
worst.
Consumer either.
You're the
I'm afraid I am.
worst. Oh, good.
It's
If
not
it
a
says Mustang on the
It's-
wrapper,
It's not a proper Mustang.
Unless it's got a V8.
Hey, if it was just an electric Mustang, I'd be all for that. It's the fact that it's an electric SUV.
Yeah,
Mustang.
yeah.
Oh, do you think the new Defender isn't a proper Defender either?
No, I like that. I think it's great.
You can't hose
Wait,
it
you said
out.
no, but then you said you like it.
And I like the new Defender. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, I said yeah.
Let the people who own the company and own the brand name the car what they want to name it. They would have done it for a reason, and it's probably because people who don't care go, "Oh, I know that name." So
Yeah.
it's still a Mustang. It'll be fast. It's got a horse on it, and you're probably not going to buy one because there's other stuff out there. So let the Mustang be the Mustang.
It's the same I get funny about the new Puma. It's an
Yeah.
SUV.
Well, it's
the buying.
like the old one. It's a Fiesta underneath, and like the old one, it's okay.
Is it still a Fiesta underneath? I didn't think
Yeah.
it was because it looks more like a
yep.
Yeah, so it's
Cougar or something. It's sort of jacked up a bit, isn't it?
It's a Fiesta when wearing platforms, and it's decent.
Back to stilettos. Damien,
Yeah.
did you answer the
Yeah.
question about? Did you answer the question about your car? What car you'd?
I kind of stumbled through it, and I think I ended up on a Volkswagen
Yeah.
Golf.
Because I couldn't I couldn't really understand what you'd said, so I was like, "What did you?"
I hadn't really thought about it. So yeah, no, I think a small hatchback of some sort. I haven't, off the top of my head, not really dug one out that hasn't already been done. But yeah, I think they're the cars I like to see brought back. Everyday cars, stuff that people used to, flood the cities with 50 years ago or longer ago. They're the cars I like to see back with a new kind of soft, friendly design and appeal to a new market. Before we go, because I know people are having to whiz off. Chris, was there any more on the social medias, or was it just?
I did a little red green on whose Morgan three-wheeler was the most popular as well. I think Alex just won that one.
Make purple great again.
He's got heated seats. So
I do have heated seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
nice.
I have to be a bit more kind of budget on that end. So
Yeah.
he's got heated seats. So
You've got-
his spec wise is a better Morgan.
It's a £200 option, and it's worth every penny. I've driven that thing through hail, snow, thunder, lightning. My legs stayed dry, and it was brilliant. And my bottom was warm.
Well,
Yeah.
compared to how much brown paint costs, because I am party to that information, I'd say heated seats are a real bargain at £200.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
200 quid. I should get for the Chevette for 200 quid.
Excellent. Well, that's we're obviously way over the time that we normally say an hour, whatever. An hour and a half has been and gone as well, so people are having to dwindle away now. But the next one is 5 weeks away, so the first Monday of next month will be Easter Monday, the 5th of April. Wow, the year is then whizzing past. It was April last year that we started ZoomZoomers, so we've almost come full circle now. For now, for this one, we'll wrap it up here. But if you want to get in touch with any of the guys, social media, the start of this broadcast, we said what their Twitter handles were. They'd love to hear from you. You can also, of course, follow ZoomZoomers across Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and keep in touch there. And of course, follow us on YouTube. Like the video if you like it. Leave some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe if you can. That'd be really fantastic. But until then, until April the 5th, 8 o'clock, I'm not sure if that'll be GMT or BST, but whatever the time is in the UK on April the 5th, I think it's probably going to be summertime. We'll see you in 5 weeks' time. Thanks for watching along, and we'll see you next time.